I'm Nikon Ambassador Gilmar Smith. Let's talk about one of the most powerful creative tools in the Nikon system, picture controls. If you ever wish your camera could show you a preview of your creative vision while you shoot, not just after editing, this is it. Picture controls are custom recipes that you can load right into your Nikon. They adjust the color, contrast, sharpness, clarity, and tonality of your images right in real time as you're shooting. That means that you're not just imagining what your final edit might look like. You're actually seeing it happen in camera. And here's the best part. They're completely non-destructive. If you're shooting raw, the picture control is just a preview layer. You can remove it, tweak it, or swap it for something else later in Nikon Studio, with zero impact to your original file. So why does this matter? Because it gives you complete creative control on set. You can load multiple picture controls in your camera, up to 9 custom ones, and switch between them while you're shooting. This lets you experiment, react to the light, mood of your environment, and dial in the exact look you want before even getting close. In this video, I'm going to show you how to create your own picture control in Nikon NX Studio, apply and fine-tune them in post to suit your images, export them and add them to your camera, and how to use them in camera to build your own creative life right in your hands. You can also explore and download picture controls from Nikon's image cloud, so you're never starting from scratch. Whether you're going for soft pastels, deep cinematic tones, or bold editorial look, you can create, test, and shoot in real time. This is one of my favorite tools for creative storytelling, and I think you're going to love what it can do for you. Let's jump in.
Okay, let's get started. Right here I have a series of pictures that I took specifically to create this video for you. It's a series of self-portraits. Is in the colors that I use the most on my work. So we're going to be creating a preset based on the adjustments that I will usually do to a picture like this. The first thing that you can notice here, if you're new to NX Studio, is that all the adjustment panels are right here on your right side. The first thing that we're going to do right now is that under picture control, you can see that I took this picture using the auto picture control in my camera. So I'm going to click right here and we're going to go to flexible color. What this is going to do is make our picture look like a little bit washed out, and that's completely fine because it's giving us room in the file to adjust the colors and the tones and everything to our taste. The first thing that I want to talk about is sharpening. And I'm not going to be using any of these settings, but I think that it's very important that I will let you know what each one of these sharpening setting does. And we have a quick sharp that is really straightforward. It's just quick sharp, the name says it. But then we have the sharpening, which is the regular sharpening that it enhances fine details like edges of hair, and it adds a little bit of gripness to the picture. And then we have the mid-range sharpening that it targets medium textures such as skin, fabric, and facial features. And then we have clarity that it adds like a little bit of boost and local contrast on the midtones. So even though I'm not using any of this right now because I rather play with my colors, and if I see afterwards that I need sharpening, that's the last thing that I do. But right now I'm not going to use it, but I thought that it was necessary for me to tell you the different adjustments that this setting does to your image. So then we have contrast, highlight, shadows, white level, black level, and saturation. So I'm going to create every single one of these settings based on how I envision this picture and how I look at it in my head. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to reduce the contrast to -30. The same thing with my highlights. And this is because I don't want like anything to be overpowering. I want the colors to be overpowering, but I don't want any crazy shadows or any crazy highlights taking over my image. In my shadows, I'm gonna open them up to about 25. And here you see that you can have the sliders, you can type in your numbers, or you can play with the arrows and get to the setting that you want. My white levels, I usually open a little bit, and when I say open is I reduce my whites, and what it does is just it lowers the brightness of the whites in my picture, and it allows me then afterwards to add color in a more balanced way when I'm color grading. And then I'm gonna do the same here with my blacks. And then I know I'm gonna be using a lot of color. I'm gonna be playing with my colors, and I like to do that individually. But I'm going to reduce the saturation because I like to play with my saturation in the next panel, one by one. So we're moving now to Color Blender. Here you have different ways that you can work in here. You can work in the whole color one. What this part of the panel does is that you can work by color. You can pick your color, and then you can adjust the hue, the chroma, which is the saturation, and the brightness one by one. Or the other way, and this, everything that you can do here, and I always tell people when you are doing something creative, just try every single way and then you decide what works best for you and for your vision. The other way to do this is you can go and you can work on the hues and the chroma, which is the saturation, and the brightness separately. Personally, I like to do color by color. So, as you can see on the hue, if I slide it right here, my reds are going to be like a little bit more towards magenta. And if I do it towards the other side, they're going to go towards orange. So I recommend you, if it's your first time doing something like this, working, color grading, or making any adjustments or creating your own preset, just play with those sliders and see what each one of those do, and then find what appeals to you the best. In this case, I love the hue of the red that I have, but I want to make it more saturated. We'll say like something here on 20, and then I'm going to add a little bit of brightness, like a little bit, just about, let's say 5. And my reds are good like that. And then my oranges that are pretty much like the skin color. I usually, on the skin colors, I always try to get my hue towards the yellow. I like it that way. It's my personal taste. You can do with your pictures. However, everything looks best for you. And then I'm going to reduce the saturation. I don't like the skin to be very saturated. Even though it's not right here, but we're going to be using this preset in the future too for some other pictures. So I like to have my settings the way that I like them. So I'm going to get the brightness towards, let's say 5, the same. And then we're going to move to yellows. Now, when you see the yellows here, this yellow is not very attractive to me. It's not very saturated. I don't like the hue. I don't like it at all. And I envision it like a very bright kind of a Nikon yellow. So the first thing that I'm going to do is, I see it right now and it looks like mustard yellow. And the first thing that I'm going to do is probably take it a little bit more towards the green. And then I'm going to boost that saturation like up to 60. And it's kind of looking the way I want it, but it's not there yet. So I'm going to play with the brightness. And I think that I'm going to do it like something around 60, the same here. So right now, I like the way that these two colors are going together. And the next thing will be the greens. We don't have greens in any in these pictures, so we're going to skip that. We might have some cyan here in my pants and a little bit here in the curtain. I wouldn't change the hue because I actually want this blue to be more towards cyan, and we're gonna do this after when we start working with the blues. But right now what I'm going to do is I'm going to boost my chroma, which is the saturation, to 20 on the cyans. Then we're moving to the blues, and I want, as I told you before, my blues to go more towards cyan. So let's take this, something like about 20 blues towards the cyan, and you can see that it's looking more cyan right here. And then I'm going to boost this all the way up right here, like about 80, 85. And I absolutely love those three colors together. And I'm going to make it a little bit brighter to 20. Once again, I'm telling you, this is based on the way that I work and my photography aesthetics. You can work with your colors the way that you want them. If you like them more neutral, less saturated, that's your vibe. This is what I usually do with mine because my work is very colorful. So I'm not gonna work here with purples or magenta because, to start with, we don't have any colors in the picture. But it's pretty much the same if you were working with them. You play with the hue, the chroma, and the brightness the same way. So now we're moving to color grading. I don't know if you are familiar with color grading, but what it does, it adds color to your highlights, shadows, and midtones. So it's adding like a little bit of tint here and there and make your images more cinematic. In this particular picture, you can add any color that you like. You can use one for your midtones, you can use one for your highlights, and for your shadows, a different color for each one of them. In this particular picture, I want my shadows, my highlights, and my midtones to have like kind of a creamy tone. We have a lot of colors in the background. We have the yellow, we have the blue, and we have that really saturated red. So I don't want to add any colors to my shadows and my highlights. What I want to do is just make them the skin tones very creamy. So the shadows too. What I'm going to be adding is a little bit of yellow tone, like a very soft cream yellowish tone to my highlights, my midtones, and my shadows. So to walk you through this part of the panel, so you have here, and you can work your highlights individually and play with the hue, with the chroma, the brightness, and we're going to be talking about these two ones at the end. And then we have the midtones, and you can work with them like separately like that, and the shadows. Or if you rather work with the three of them at the same time, you have it here. To me, to have more control of everything, I like to work with them individually, and that's what we're going to do right now. So the same thing you can use with the sliders. You can type in your numbers right here or play and fine tune with the arrows, or with your cursor, you can start moving. And the way that you move right here, see, you can see the adjustments, like you can make a little bit red your highlights, you can go towards the green, and you can see by moving your cursor right here, you can play around with your colors and settings in the color wheel. I find that sometimes when you're doing this with the cursor, it's like a little bit tricky. So I like to move it like kind of the way that I want it to be, and then fine tune it right here with the arrows or type in a number. In this particular one, I think that here in 47, it will be nice. You can barely see what I'm doing, but it will make a difference. So I'm here, I'm fine with 47 on the hue. It's adding a little bit of yellowish, kind of like a cream color to my highlights. And then a little bit of on my chroma, just a little bit of saturation, just 7. I think that if we go beyond that, it's going to be too much. I'm going to lower my highlights once again to -20. I want this to be very soft, very balanced, and I want the colors of the background and the clothing and all of that taking the main character, and everything else I want it to be very soft. So on the midtones, I'm going to go somewhere pretty close there. Let's go like a little bit like more, like about 55. But then we can lower a little bit the chroma, like 55 and 5. And then my midtones, I'm going to make them a little bit brighter, like about 20. And that's good. So you see, you can play around here. You see, your midtones darker or really bright. I want to keep it like this because I think that it matches the idea that I have in my head of how I want this image to look. Now then we have the shadows, and in the shadows I'm going to apply the same settings, just a little bit of this, like about 55 and 5, the same that I did. And in the midtones, and then I'm going to actually brighten up my shadows a little bit too, because once again, the colors are the main character, everything else might be soft and nice. So now the blending, you are not going to be able to see much of what it does right now, because you know what, is the same color that we're using here for all of these colors, all of these highlights, midtones, and shadows. So balance, you cannot see much of the balance here either, because it's the same colors and we are not adjusting pretty much. So let's do something like this. Is going to lower, let me see. And if we compare it like this, I think I like it. -25 is a good spot for this. Okay, we got it. So as I mentioned before, we're making all of the adjustment here where it says picture control. And this, you can see right here, this picture control panel ends. That means that the adjustments that you create beyond here, down here, any of these adjustments down here are not going to be saved as your preset. Of course, afterwards, if you take your picture with your preset with your camera and then import it here to Nikon NX Studio, and then you want to change the white balance and all of that, you can totally do it. Or if you want to do everything else with your picture afterwards, that's fine. But these settings won't be saved as your preset. I just wanted to make that clear so you don't go beyond and making all of these changes right under here and then realize that they are not saved as your picture control. Okay, so we created all of the settings that we want. We changed the colors, we color graded, we did all of that. So now the next thing it is to save our new picture control. So to do so, we're going to go to flexible color right here, and we're going to click on it, and we're going to go down to where it says add to custom picture controls. I'm gonna click on it, and we are going to name this one Miami Mellow, because I like the colors and it reminds me of Miami, and I think that is a funny name to say. So after I type in my name, I go and click OK, right? So now if I go down here, you can find it save with my other custom presets. You can find these 3 presets here already on Nikon Imaging Cloud. I created these previously for Nikon, so you can download them from the Nikon Imaging Cloud. And now we have this new one. So you can use this preset now on the other pictures that I have here. So let's say this one. If I want to use the preset that we just created on that picture, I just click here, Miami Mellow, and it adds all of the adjustments to it. Or in this one over here, it goes and boom, it changed it. And the same one with the other one, we have Miami Mellow, and now all of the pictures have the same vibe. Perfect, we have it saved in our Nikon NX Studio. So now what we need to do is export this preset to a camera. To add your preset to your camera, the first thing that you have to do is go ahead, find your card, get your card reader, plug it into your computer, and then after that's ready, you're going to go up here to Custom Picture Control. You're going to click on it. You're going to click Export. You're going to find the one that we just created or the one that you created or all of the one that you have created. You can install up to 9 custom picture controls in your camera. And then after you have it selected, you are going to export to card. Perfect. So the next thing that you can do is just go put your card in your camera and follow the screen as I'm showing you right now and load that preset. Your camera and it's going to be ready for you to start shooting with your new preset. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope that you learn how to create your own picture control.